Hi everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Season 12, Episode 3, There's Sutton About Crystal. Okay, we open this week at Crystal's house. She and her housekeeper, fan favorite Lucy, are in the kitchen getting like hors d'oeuvres and things ready for a little get-together that Crystal's having with the ladies. After Crystal's like putting some things on a platter, she goes, all right, I gotta go get ready because the girls are coming sooner than I asked. What? Sooner than she asked? Like, she invited everyone over at 5 for cocktails, and they said, great, we'll be there at 4. So right away, the guests start arriving, and Crystal is wearing like this little puffy baby doll dress it's black, but it has a big white bow on the back. And when she answers the door for Garcelle goes, oh, well, skip to Malou. In her confessional, Garcelle said, you don't have to wear a baby doll dress to remind us how young you are, Crystal. I mean, I want to give her a lollipop. Okay, so everyone but Sutton and Diana are there. They're making a little small talk. Kyle's like, hey, so Garcelle, was Kathy on your show today? And she said, yes. So, Garcelle is one of the hosts of The Real, and they had Kathy Hilton on. Then we get to see a little clip, and I don't know if Kathy misspoke or what. But Garcelle asks her, how's the planning going for Paris's wedding? And Kathy said, well, great. Did you RSVP for Friday and Saturday yet? And Garcelle's like, I was invited to the shower, but I didn't get a wedding invitation. I do think Kathy tried to cover by saying, oh, well, a lot of people didn't RSVP and they didn't get their invitations. Who knows? Maybe she was invited because Kathy was on Housewives last year. Maybe all the housewives are invited. What do I know? So somebody asks, is this everybody? And Crystal said, yes, because Sutton is out of town on business. And I don't think anybody even mentioned Diana. She's not a friend of people. She is a full-on housewife. Bravo is not testing out Diana Jenkins for a year. No, this is not a Tracy Barber situation. This is Diana Jenkins. Oh, man. I'm going to hate her, aren't I, guys? Too high of a pedestal, Jill. All right, so Kyle is opening a new store in La Quinta, and she has invited all the ladies, including Sutton and Diana, to her home in Palm Springs. And, this will be like the baby trip. Kyle tells Rinna that Dorit is going to be staying in the casita this time, so you'll have to stay in one of the other bedrooms. And Rinna's like, that's fine. Then Dorit announces to the ladies, I just have to pee very quickly. Okay. Just go. Which, as it turns out, is just the first of many mentions of having to go to the bathroom in this episode. Bravo's trying out something new, I guess. Trying to put a little more reality into their reality show, maybe. Okay, so the second that Dorit is out of earshot, Kyle said, you guys, did you hear her voicemail today? It'll make you cry. It's like a knife to the heart. We hear it, and she's telling them that she had a very bad night and couldn't sleep the night before. So when she comes back, Garcelle said, how are you doing, Dorit? And she said, I'm experiencing in waves a lot of physical and emotional trauma. I took a Xanax and it didn't help. Take a Xanax. Sorry. Call back to Ramona. So, of course, Kyle needs to tell everyone about her conversation with Sutton. You knew she would. She already told Dorit. The way Kyle puts it is, since we're all going to be going to La Quinta together, I just want us to be all good, She says she's not trying to spark any more issues, but of course, if that were true, she wouldn't be saying anything right now. It's bad enough that she told Dorit, but she went to Sutton when she was at Sutton's store, and she confronted her with the issues she had. That should have been where it ended. But, of course she wants everybody to know. And it's only going to fuel Erica's hatred toward Sutton. And probably Rinna's too, even though they supposedly made up. They adore one another. She gives no context either. Just right to the damning part, which is, then she said, sorry, I didn't have a gun to my head. Yes, that's a horrible thing to say. But also, she told nobody the part that Sutton told her last week about how it, triggers things in her past. Dorit, that's just a tad too insensitive. So finally, Garcelle said, I'm not comfortable talking about this behind her back. I think we should have this conversation when Sutton is here. Dorit said that she's not going to bring it up at all when they're in La Quinta because, she just needs to heal, and everybody agreed. Next, Kyle and her two big dogs, River and Bambi, I think, are hopping in the car and they are heading to La Quinta. She's on the phone with Shahida, her business partner, asking how's everything going for the big grand opening. She also asks Siri where the nearest Jack in the Box is. Then we move on to Garcelle. She tells us in her confessional that she's staying at Kyle's this time. Remember last year, Garcelle and Crystal, and I think Erica were at the hotel nearby. Garcelle said Kyle has 5 bedrooms and she's deciding who gets to stay in the house. Then Garcelle gets a delivery of this art piece that she's purchased. Amethyst butterfly cathedral wings. I guess amethysts are known for emotional and spiritual protection. I mean, that may be true, but honestly, it is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. It kind of looks like the pelvic bones of like a dinosaur, maybe. And then the stand doesn't really go with it. Maybe it's like if you cut into a bone and you can, you see the cross section of it with like the marrow and everything. Maybe that's what it looks like. The cross section of a dinosaur pelvis. I'm going to let you see it right here. You be the judge. Well, everybody hide your valuables because we are at Erica's shitty little house. We are in the bedroom with her assistants, Mikey and Laya or something. I can't remember her name, but sweetie, look into the camera and blink twice if you're being held there against your will. I'm not sure Erica's paying you. Oh, well, cue the sad music and guys, grab your tissues. I'm going to try to get through this next part without my voice cracking. Erica tells us that she has to start wearing her clothing more than once. Tom, you monster. Damn you. She puts on a brave face for the camera, though. I have a lot of nice things, so wearing them twice isn't the worst thing. Let me think about that. So, on the one hand, having your parents die in a horrible plane crash and then having your lawyer steal your settlement money, or having to wear your Gucci dress a second time. I guess she's right. It's not the worst thing. I love her can-do attitude. She's like a plucky little orphan Annie. Back to Kyle. She and the dogs have arrived at her house in Palm Springs, and she's got Mauricio on FaceTime, and he's asking how the trip was. And she said, yeah, I drove up alone because Dorit had another bad night. I guess Dorit was supposed to ride up with her, and she didn't sleep at all the night before. But she does love being with the girls coming up later that night. Okay, now it is the next day. This is the day the ladies are riding down to La Quinta, and we see Rinna at Erica's house. Say what you will about Lisa Rinna, but she has driven alone to Erica's shitty little neighborhood several times. I mean, that's bravery. Of course, I've never seen her do it at night, but that's just foolish. She and Erica apparently have coordinated their Burberry plaid, which is, cute. Okay, so Erica says she has PTSD from the last time she was down there. We get a flashback to, her sobbing in the bathroom. And she needs a little drink before they go. So Rinna suggests, let's have a little roadie. Huh? How about a vodka soda? Side note, it's been said that this season is setting up for Erica to possibly have a drinking problem. So, I think we may be laying the groundwork here. Wait, what? Diana Jenkins has made her way to Erica's little house. She just walked in with Garcelle and Crystal. They must all be riding down together, but what? Secret Service is probably right outside the door. Diana. Side note, I snapped this screenshot because I thought it was so weird that the cameraman was behind all the women. It's so strange. Then I remembered how and small Erica's house was, and I bet there isn't a lot of room to maneuver the camera and everything around in there, like when there's more than one person in the room. All right, so I guess all the ladies are into the roadie. Well, Diana in her confessional said, I don't even know what roadie is, but I'm going to take one. Of course. She's game. So Erica, Rinna, and Garcelle are in one car, and Crystal and Diana are in another. I feel like Crystal and Diana could have like met up in a nicer neighborhood. Like if they're not even riding with Erica, why risk it? Diana probably has $1 million worth of clothing and jewelry on her body at all times. Question, isn't Carmen Sandiego coming with this time? What's that dog's name again? Even dogs need a break from that shitty little house. You know that poor dog wishes that he stayed with Tom in the big house. Of course now, I guess, Diablo would be living in a facility with Tom, but, you know, facility, Erica's shitty house. 601. Continuing the theme of the episode, Erica asks the driver to start looking for a bathroom. And then Garcelle goes, and an In-N-Out. That sounds so good right now. We don't have In-N-Outs where I live here now in Greenville or back at home in Chicago. But I have had In-N-Out on vacation before. It's yummy. Oh, what we do have here in South Carolina that I used to have in Chicago, but not for many, many years, is a Jack in the Box. Those fried tacos. I mean, you can't make a regular diet out of those, but I did have them once since I've been here. Yum. In the other car, Diana has brought homemade sourdough bread. Which is so cute. I mean, you know, she didn't make it, but homemade sourdough is just such a funny thing to bring on a road trip. I guess she gets hypoglycemic and then she needs carbs. Now we get eating shots of all the ladies. In the other car, it's Erica's shoving her face with French fries and Garcelle's shoving a burger in her mouth. And then in Crystal and Diana's car, Diana's got like a little cracker and Crystal's got a little carrot stick. So Crystal says to Diana, oh, wait, so what are you going to be wearing today? And Diana said, well, I have 2 outfits. One is a Balenciaga and the other is like Etro. Now, I've never heard of Etro. Googled it, love it, could never afford it. That was my full circle with Etro. I went from not having it in my life to not having it in my life. The dresses are all over like $2,000 and there was like a fancy sequin one for $20,000. It's just not really in my clothing budget. I wear t-shirts. Crystal, have you ever gone to these outlets like out here in Palm Springs? Crystal. Diana. What is it? Of course. She doesn't even know what an outlet is. Crystal's like, they have really good outlets out here. And then she kind of laughs and she goes, you would never need to shop at an outlet store. It's like discount designer. Diana. Oh, I don't go shopping. In her confessional, she tells us that I have clothes brought to my house by designers. I keep what I like, I send back what I don't like, and then I pay for it. In the car, Crystal said, I don't pay retail for anything. I'll wait 3 years for it to go on sale and then I'll buy it. Yeah, you didn't wait 3 years for that Birkin bag that was $95,000, did ya? Okay, so everyone who was in the Rinna car have arrived at the house. Dorita's already there because I think she came the night before. And Crystal and Diana and Sutton are staying at the hotel. Surprise, surprise. Crystal and Sutton didn't make it to the house. I'm just shocked that Garcelle did. You know, if Diana was at the house, it would be easier to, like, you know, bring her into the fold. Make her a Fox Force 5 member before Crystal, Sutton, and Garcelle ever even knew what hit them. I wonder if they're trying to turn Garcelle. That's interesting. I don't think they can do it, but I wonder if that's what they're gonna try. Okay. At the hotel, before Diana's arrival, we see Leah, Diana's stylist, Ricky, Diana's hairstylist, and Diane, Diana's makeup artist, setting up everything in her room. In her confessional, Diana said, I sent my team on ahead of me to, you know, check out the room and make sure everything is okay. You know, make things better. At Kyle's house, Dorit is dressed head to toe in clothing from Kyle's new store. God, she really is still healing, isn't she? Okay, so everyone is getting ready for the opening of Kyle's store. It's that night. Everyone's getting their makeup done. And Crystal finds her way to Sutton's room, and they have a little chat. Crystal tells Sutton what Kyle told all the ladies at her house the other night. And Crystal said, I like the friendship that you and I have developed, and I want to be transparent and honest. And Sutton's like, yeah. Kyle made it sound like you said something insensitive, like, sorry, I didn't have a gun held to my head. Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what she said. Sutton said, well, that burglary freaked me out. You know, I had an intruder in my home when I was 14. Sutton tells us in her confessional that her mother woke up and found this man right outside Sutton's bedroom door. And then she screamed for her husband to get the gun, and Sutton's like, so it is not a nice way to wake up. No, of course not. I'm sure that was terrifying. Sutton says to Crystal, sometimes I'll say something like that when I'm freaked out because I just don't like to think about it a lot. And Crystal goes, okay. Sutton is shaken in her confessional, just talking about everything, her father's suicide and this break-in. Side note, I keep thinking, okay, I understand Sutton's trauma and how it does change you forever. But I still wish she would have been able to say to Kyle, I am devastated for Dorit, but this is stirring up so many things similar to that have happened to me that I just can't talk about it if that's okay with you. You know, I think if she could have said it like that, this would have been a non-issue. So then I started thinking about, sorry, I'm going to go off on a little tangent here. So then I started thinking about how I totally believe Dorit, but that Sutton's reaction doesn't resonate with me. And I realize it's because, you know, we all kind of come to the table with our own biases. You know, I think I would have behaved differently than Sutton. I wouldn't have been flippant and acted like I didn't care that something terrifying happened to Dorit. And then, you know, not going to go into this, but having gone through something similar to Dorit, I can say that during and in the aftermath of that, I behaved almost identically to the way Dorit is behaving. Her story is believable to me. Her actions are believable to me. The suffering she's going through after the event is believable to me because that was me. I'm telling you, she's behaving almost identically to how I did. Right down to the part about kind of acting it out, which when you think about it seems quite morbid, but I can't even explain it. But when I would retell the story to someone, I was doing those same kind of things, like how you were. I was standing over here. I was doing that. I know it seems counterintuitive. I know it seems like a person who's really been through that would not be acting it out again, but somehow I did. I don't know why. I don't know if it was part of processing it for me. I don't know. But all I can say is when I saw Dorit do it at Kyle's house, it solidified to me that she had been through what she's saying she's been through because it's so similar to me. And I also believe her because, you know, unless she read some kind of manual on how, you know, trauma victims react to certain things, she sounds and acts like someone who's been through a terrifying, life-threatening experience. Also, as a mother, if she were faking this, what kind of a sociopath would you need to be to say, I visualized him killing my children? I'm just saying, for me, I couldn't say those words out loud if it weren't true. Anyway, my whole point is that I'm bringing my own bias to the table. I believe Dorit because she's presenting almost exactly the way I did after something similar. And I'm not feeling the way Sutton is behaving because that isn't how I behaved or how I would. But who am I to say that Sutton wasn't feeling empathy or that she isn't an empath who feels it so deeply that she has learned to cope by kind of compartmentalizing her feelings. Like what happened to Dorit is so painful to Sutton that she's got to kind of block it out. I had a busy morning myself. You know, like her brain wouldn't let her go there. I don't know. And, you know, guys, I know many of you don't believe Dorit, and maybe I'm wrong to believe her. That's entirely possible. I'm just telling you guys that I think I'm starting to understand why I believe her. Anyway, sorry about that whole thing. So anyway, Crystal and Sutton agree that yes, probably nobody's going to bring it up tonight, for Dorit's sake. Okay, we are at Kyle's store, Kyle and Shahida, and we see a brown-haired Teddy Mellencamp. Side note, this is funny to me because if Teddy is that good of friends with Kyle, and I think she is, I mean, Teddy is really part of Fox Force 5. So it's just funny to me that like a couple years ago, Teddy would be staying at Kyle's house. Now she's, in a hotel somewhere without a camera following her. Oh, before they got there, Sutton and Crystal were with Diana, and Sutton said, well, I've got my Amex card. And Diana said, oh, she brought hers too. So Crystal goes, oh, Diana, I'll just use yours. I'll pay you later. So really, like, Kyle's grand opening is just like a giant Tupperware party. Walk around, see what you like. If Kyle gets enough orders, she gets the nesting mixing bowls for free. Well, surprise, surprise, it's Diana's first store opening. Of course, Diana doesn't know what shopping is. All right, I guess everyone is there now. Garcelle and Teddy are complimenting each other and... Okay, sorry. In Diana's confessional, she saes, I think the clothing is very pretty. Is actually something I would wear. Even at my own house. The clothing in Kyle's store is actually good enough for Diana to wear at home. Oh, God. It scares me that I love her this much. I know I'm being set up for a fall, but right now, I get a kick out of that woman. Okay, then Kyle makes a speech, and her ribbon cutting ceremony was almost a total fail when the scissors wouldn't cut the ribbon for whatever reason. And Dorit approaches Sutton, and they hug, and Dorit very graciously asks her how her business trip was. And Sutton said, oh, it was great. And she said, how are you doing? And Dorit said, I've had a couple of panic attacks, a couple rough nights. And Sutton said, yeah, of course. And then the next thing I know, Kyle and Garcelle are also standing there with those two. And Sutton said, I'm trying to apologize. I am a sincere person, and I would never want to be insincere with you. Dorit said, I think saying, sorry, I don't have a gun to my head was a little too insensitive. And Sutton goes, no, that was a terrible thing to say. Sutton basically says, when I think about guns and break-ins, it triggers me. And when I get uncomfortable, I say uncomfortable things. She's like, I didn't mean it. And I am really, really sorry. And Dorit said, thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. Anyway, we move on. And Garcelle said, I'm going to go up to pay for my purchases. And Sutton goes, well, Diana's paying for Crystal's. Referring to like earlier when they were joking around. And so Garcelle goes, wait, Diana? So I failed to mention this earlier, but Erica is wearing her Cartier Panther ring. I mean, she's worn it before. How sad. And she joked about it being a starter kit, but that Diana has like the full set. So now she says to Diana, do you have the Jasper one of these? It's black. I need someone in my life to get this ring. And that's you. And Diana goes, I will. It's me. I'll order it now. And then someone said, I don't think it was one of the housewives, it was just somebody else there that said, maybe you'll get it, Erica. Oh, I can't afford it. Maybe one day, but right now it's grim. I mean, give us a moment, okay? I'm barely holding on, okay? Oh, is it grim, Erica? Grim like being in a house explosion and needing even more surgeries than you've already had, but you can't afford those surgeries because your lawyer stole your settlement money. Is it grim like that? We move on to Kyle, and Kyle's telling them that the store fills her creatively and, makes her a nicer person. Then she and Sutton pretend to give each other little, like, lovey-dovey kisses. And then they hug. And then when they're hugging, Crystal, pantomimes like she's stabbing Kyle in the back. And Kyle's like, what are you doing back there? I can tell you're doing something. Then she tells her, oh, it's just stabbing you in the back. And Kyle said, I'm sure you are. And Sutton goes, well, you pull mine out first. And Kyle goes, I didn't stab you in the back. I do everything up front to your face. And Sutton goes, I know you do. Well, that was some remarkable restraint on Sutton's part to not tell her that, yeah, Crystal already told me that when all the ladies were together without me there, that you told them what I said. So that's kind of behind the back. I mean, she did tell her to her face too, but she stabs her in the front and the back. Okay, so everyone is back at Kyle's house now, and the caterers are there serving dinner. People are like getting into their PJs. Well, the people that are staying at that house. Kyle ends up talking to Diana, and she asks her what her sign is, because I guess they're both animal lovers. And Diana says she's a Leo. And Kyle goes, oh, fire. When's your birthday? Diana says, August 23rd. And Kyle goes, wait, that's Virgo. And we see on the screen that August 23rd to September 22nd is Virgo. I mean, she's on the cusp. Is that what they say? She's like the very first day of it. But it is Virgo. I'm September 1st, so I am like a very Virgo. I'm right in the middle of that. So Diana said, no, she's not Virgo. I have had my chart done by many, many astrologists. And Kyle's confessional, she goes, well, who am I to interfere with Diana's many, many astrologists coming up with their own astrological dates? Kim's daughter's birthday is 23rd. She's a Virgo. But hey, Diana, be whatever you want to be. That's very Virgo of her. Now the ladies all sit down to eat what the chef has prepared. And they've just got they're sitting on the couches and stuff. So they have their plates on their laps. And one of Kyle's dogs just snatches the steak right off of Rena's plate.
Yeah, put it in your mouth. Oh my God! Oh, you guys! Oh my God! You took my steak!
Kyle has two big, ill-behaved dogs. I feel like you either put the dogs in the other room when people are eating, or you let people eat at the dining room table. I mean, some of them are sitting on the floor eating at the coffee table. The dog can reach that coffee table, you know. So Garcelle says, now that we're all together, can we talk about Sutton while she's here? In her confessional, Garcelle said, I saw Sutton apologize to Dorit at Kyle's store, and Dorit accepted the apology. So Garcelle said, can we clear the air while she's here? Kyle said, well, I already said what I had to say to Sutton's face. Sutton goes, look, I already apologized. I am as genuine as I can be. Kyle is like this. I know. What does that mean? Erica, wow. Sutton, I am. Dorit says, at the store, it felt genuine when you apologized. Sutton said, yeah, I should not have put myself before Dorit's problem. I should never have done that. And Kyle goes, there's no way you cannot be empathetic to Dorit. Sutton said she didn't know how bad Dorit was feeling. And when Kyle said, you could have called to see how she's feeling. You can always reach out. Sutton said, well, I don't know. Because when my father shot himself, I did not want people calling me and coming over. And Rena goes, yeah, I mean, everybody's different. Sutton said she didn't want to bother Dorit because she knows the way Dorit is, that if people started coming over, Dorit would have felt like she had to put out a platter and, end up making us feel better. And that doesn't help her. Diana, may I say something? I don't really know Sutton, but I feel like she is clumsy with her words and behavior. Erica, drink in one hand. Yep. I don't think they've shown a shot of Erica without a drink in her hand this whole episode. Oh, Diana's not done, guys. To Sutton, you come off really weird and wrong. She does things and says things that really do hurt people. Okay, she uses the conversation at Harry's party as her example. I don't think she knows how her words are affecting the other person. How do you think Rinna telling her that she didn't pay for a table at a charity event that she did pay for made Sutton feel? Look, Sutton was awkward and wrong and everything for acting how she did at Kyle's house right after the break-in, when Sutton, acted like it didn't matter at all. That I can understand. In that case, Sutton wasn't thinking about how other people feel. But at Harry's party, she was pretty much just defending herself. She apologized to Lisa, and then Lisa told her, you didn't pay for that table. Let's be clear. I don't think she was weird and awkward and wrong there. Diana goes, I also think the redeeming qualities are that you work on yourself and you apologize. I have heard you apologize 2 or 3 times already to people. Okay, that's true. And that's awkward timing. Sutton had some things to apologize for very early on in this season. So, yeah, probably not a good first impression for Diana to have of Sutton. But honestly, Diana, sweetie, you know I love you. You should have stopped right after you said, I don't know Sutton very well. Leave it there, Diana. So Sutton goes, I love to apologize. Okay, that's weird. Sorry. Who loves to apologize? She goes, and I was empathetic. Kyle, no, you actually weren't, Sutton. And Sutton goes, I was empathetic, Kyle. So Crystal's mumbling under her breath now. There's a lot of hypocrisy. It's annoying. In Crystal's confessional, she said, it's really inappropriate to tell people that they feel wrong. To me, that's the ultimate gaslighting. And that makes me distrust you as a friend, which is kind of what I was trying to say earlier about empathy looking different than maybe you think it should, or I think it should. So now Kyle, who's like can tell that Crystal's mumbling something, says, what, Crystal? And Garcelle goes, she's having a hard time. Garcelle is sitting right next to Crystal. Kyle, with what? So then Crystal says to Sutton, you know, you and I had our thing last year, and I expressed how I was feeling violated, and you went on a very strong campaign, every single one of you, to police my feelings and tell me I was wrong about her intention. You said change the word to rude from violated. And that's not how I felt. Kyle says, yeah, I thought you saying violated when she was just returning your coat to you was too strong. And yes, I think Sutton was rude for saying she was worried about her French designer when our friend almost lost her life. But you can't compare apples to oranges. Crystal said, you guys asked me to give her the benefit of the doubt, but you guys can all go against her now? I'm very triggered by the whole thing. I don't really feel like everyone is going against Sutton right now. I think Dorit genuinely forgave her at Kyle's. I believe that. And, you know, she and Rinna hugged. I don't quite believe that one, but they did. If they ended that night with a hug and I adore you and let's move forward, then they should kind of be in a good place too. The only person that really hates her right now is Erica, but I didn't even think Kyle necessarily was going to stop, you know, talking to Sutton or whatever. Like if Garcelle didn't make them rehash everything right now, I think that Kyle and Sutton would have been okay too. In Kyle's confessional, she said that she thinks that Crystal is overly dramatic and always has something to complain about. So Dorit said, I can't quite draw the correlation. And Crystal goes, it's extremely connected. And I would have appreciated you giving me a little grace to understand how I felt. Kyle, I'm sorry, but these are two very different situations. This one needs a lot more defending. So I didn't understand this at first, but I think what Kyle is saying is it was easy to defend Sutton against you last year because we knew that Sutton was just trying to return your coat and you acting like she violated you, like Sutton really didn't do anything wrong. But this time, Sutton really did say something wrong. She acted like she didn't care that Dorit had gone through this thing. Like it was not that big of a deal to her. So I think that's what Kyle's saying. They're very different situations. One where she thinks Sutton wasn't in the wrong, and this one where she does think Sutton's in the wrong. And Garcelle said, but Kyle, why didn't you just say, F you, Sutton? I can't believe you just said that. And Kyle goes, I pretty much did. I'm sorry, but I was offended by that, and I will not apologize. Like, she gets pretty heated there. Sutton, one of the biggest lessons that I learned between me and you, Crystal, was the respect of how someone feels. And I think that's so important. Erica, wait. Do you respect how you treated me last year? Do you feel anything about how you treated me? Sutton, I feel pretty good about how I handled it. Erica, why? Do you realize that everything you said was untrue and has been proven to be not true? Okay, here she goes again. Sutton even says this in her confessional. Erica keeps saying, it's all been proven to not be true. It's all been proven to not be true. But nobody has seen this proof other than Erica saying it. and saying it's out there. And you can go look it up. Do your own research. Bravo, do your due diligence. I will say what I said then. If you have the proof, why aren't you showing people? Why make it hard for people to find that proof? Doesn't make sense. It's illogical. It's geological. Side note, fun fact and a side note. I almost named my channel Geological, but then I thought Jill Informed ended up sounding better. I don't know. And because I'm so ill-informed, that one really just kind of felt right. Anyway, Sutton said, all I did was ask a few questions. And Erica's like, no. And Rinna goes, you called her a liar. Yeah, she did. She called her a liar, people. A liar. Then we get a flashback.
Do you not believe Erica?
I think she has lied to us.
You do?
I do.
And then Sutton said, do you feel good about how you treated me? Erica, absolutely, bitch. I'll go 1,000% again. Okay. Well, you can take the girl out of the shitty neighborhood, but you can't take the shitty neighborhood out of the girl. So then Erica says the pattern is Crystal, Erica, and now Dorit. And it all stems from Sutton saying something. And then you end up in these situations with these people. So while she's trying to make the point that Sutton is the common denominator in all things that are wrong with the group, Rinna actually, Erica's ride or die, I can't believe, said, I think we're getting a little away from what really just happened. Dorit was held at gunpoint, and she saved her life and the life of her children. So yeah. So Crystal apologizes and says, you're absolutely right. I am not trying to take anything away from Dorit and that. And Rinna goes, no, your feelings are valid and your feelings are valid. Your feelings are valid. She's kind of going around to Sutton, Erica, I want everyone to go back and just remember what happened. I can look in Dorit's eyes and still see the pain. Okay, do we have to make Dorit go back and remember what happened? Like, I get what she's saying, and I actually kind of appreciate that she brought it back to, like, the fact that what Dorit just went through. Come on. Let's not relitigate issues from last season. And then Rinna, you guessed it, theme of the night has to go to the bathroom. And not just like sneaking off to the bathroom, like these women are making announcements about it. What is up with that? So Dorit says to Crystal, I'm still just trying to understand the correlation. What is upsetting you now? Kyle, I'm confused about Crystal right now. Well, so much for keeping it on track. Rinna, you done yet? Get back here. Diana's bored. She gave her 2 cents. Now she's just scrolling through Instagram. Crystal goes, I'm not gonna. And Garcelle goes, no. They don't understand. Crystal, they're never gonna understand. So I'm not gonna talk about it anymore. There's only so much that you can express how you feel. Kyle goes, that's not it. And Crystal goes, I understand your perspective. I'm not allowed to feel violated. It's too strong. I'm not saying it's the same situation. I'm saying I'm triggered by what's happening now. Garcelle, you can't say it's apples and oranges, Kyle. I understand it's 2 different scenarios, but her feelings are her feelings. And Crystal says to Garcelle, I'm not talking to them about it anymore because my feelings are irrelevant to them. Stop. I'm done. Dorit, that's not true. Crystal, it is. Get real. Dorit, are you out of your fucking mind? Crystal's getting really upset now. She says she doesn't want to be there. She doesn't want to go through this with Dorit tonight. And she's like, I'm leaving. This is not a safe space for me right now. I don't feel good here. And Dorit goes, I don't want you to feel that. But in her confessional, Dorit's like, are you kidding me? Poor choice of words, given what I had just been through. And Crystal goes, you guys will never validate my feelings unless you can understand them. Rinna. Rinna doesn't understand right now. Crystal goes on to say, I have expressed so much to you guys about my history, my pain. I tell you guys how I feel, and you guys don't listen. You don't care. Honestly, it is not a good place for me here. I really don't want to be here. Diana gets up. I've got to go. I'm her bodyguard. Diana wants to leave so bad. Anyway, Dorit is trying desperately to get Crystal to understand that her feelings do matter to her. She wants to understand. Meanwhile, Diana's kissing Rinna goodbye. Crystal, your bodyguard is going to leave without you, so... Oh my God. Sometimes I think you guys will not believe me, but literally the next thing Diana says is this.
All right, bodyguard is leaving, Crystal.
So Sutton, Diana, and Crystal get in the car and they leave to go to the hotel. Kyle, who a second ago said she wanted to understand Crystal, is now letting the, rest of the people know that she's kind of pissed. Now that Crystal's gone. She's like, Crystal's like texting me, we're laughing, and I thought everything was fine. Erica, you know what? The truth was told tonight. Sips on her drink. In the car, Sutton tells Crystal that tonight was interesting for me because I just sat and listened to how you really felt. Crystal's like, I had an eating disorder and I don't look to others to validate me. Sutton, I didn't see you naked either, by the way. Oh, Sutton. Diana was right. You are a bit clumsy with your words. That was not the time to say that. Crystal goes, to have a group of people tell you that you can't feel that way is pretty intense. Diana, but that's not how you should feel with friends. You should never feel alone. Back at Kyle's, Rinna, okay, what's the takeaway tonight, guys? And Garcelle said, let everybody feel the way they want to feel. Kyle, no, the takeaway is that we need to, Erica, guys, I don't think we should try to interpret what she means. Let's ask her and then try not to judge it in the moment. Rinna's like, look at you. Kyle takes that as a cue to jump on Erica and dry hump her. And they all laugh at how insightful Erica is being. The end. Okay. All right, that was a lot, guys. I hope things get a little more fun. I know it's hard with Dorit's thing kind of being such a big part of this, but we're only 3 episodes in. A lot can happen. So I hope you guys are with me on this journey. And if you liked this recap, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet done so, please subscribe to my channel, Jill Informed. And I will see you next time with the next recap of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Bye.